I just have to tell you the story in ICU yesterday. Don and I were visiting with what we thought was Parker Tobin's family. So you know the story now. Parker Tobin, the goaltender from Stony Plain, Alberta, we thought had survived. In fact, it was Xavier Labelle. But as we looked at who we thought was Parker Tobin, the mom. So imagine the mom and dad and the brother, they don't know that they're not looking at their own boy, that he's so severely cut and hurt that they actually think it's possibly their boy. And I can remember her mom, or Parker, thinking, this is Parker saying, the mom saying, he's beginning to look more like our boy. Can you imagine? And it wasn't, of course, their boy. And the dad saying, when Parker was a child, he had chicken pox, and there was this one scar on his forehead, and thankfully this 7-inch gash will make that immaterial. And all these horrible, in retrospect, I even stood over the body, and I was sort of talking to the child and saying, it's Ron and Don. We're going to do a coach's corner bedside for you tonight. Everything's going to be okay. And when I was saying that, the boy began to rise up a little bit, and the nurse quickly put him back down because this boy, who we now know was Xavier Labelle, in addition to these horrific cuts, he had vertebrae broken, he had rib broken, he had hip broken, he had lacerated liver. I mean, all of the children were mangled beyond a miracle, really. And then last night, Father David Tombuck of Cathedral of the Holy Family phoned me and said, Ron, I'm doing the funeral for Xavier Labelle later this week. Would you mind jotting down a few words that I can present to the children? It's up to you, Ron, if you think you could do it. And I said, well, I'll give it a shot, David, but you see if it's appropriate. And so then I phoned Mark Chartier, who had been the coach of Xavier Labelle with the contacts in Saskatoon, a great midget AAA team that went to the TELUS Cup down in Quimpamsis, New Brunswick. And I said, tell me about Xavier. And he said, oh, God, Ron, just the most beautiful human alive, plays piano, speaks both languages, sharp as a tack. His father, Paul's a bit of a cut-up at the TELUS Cup. He would dress up in clown suits and bang a drum. And they were having a party tonight at Mark Chartier, the coach's house, to honor the late Xavier Labelle. Well, now they know Labelle's alive. He's got all those injuries. But can you imagine the joy in that one scene, and then the frickin' devastation that I feel for the Tobin family?